Okay, for our appetizer, we have a jumbo lump crab cake.
Jumbo lumps.
No, jumbo lumps. It's just like big.
Okay. Steak.
Yes, our soup of the day.
Soup. Do I look sick? I ain't sucking no chicken's noodles. Next.
Our seafood.
Shut up. 2, 3, 4.
I don't want no jumbo lumps. I don't want to eat no fish. I don't want no soup, girl. I ain't a sick little bitch. Put some steak up in my mouth. Give me steak right goddamn now. Oh, boys.
Thank you. Steak.
Fine, I'll just go get the...
As always on Sundays, we are live. We are the Meat of the Matter podcast, where we meet, you matter. That is Mark. He is Peter. I am Tony. Welcome in on this Sunday. Some things are going on in Canada. Tomorrow is a very big turning point, and I just have to say this. I don't like to bring politics into this, but if it goes the wrong way, I might be moving to either the Netherlands or Ireland. So we'll see what happens. How are we doing, boys?
Great. Doing very, very well.
Nice. And like always, we do appreciate all the comments, the questions. And we did get a question. We'll just dive into it today. Primal Patricia, you can find her on Instagram and TikTok, Instagram and YouTube. She mentioned a good comment that I didn't get a chance to really look into the full thing, but I think it's something worth talking about because it's interesting, and specifically who said it. And she talked to us on YouTube, and this is her question. Dr. Ken Berry actually just recently did a video talking about how he is all for microdosing Ozempic for his patients. Apparently, there is some new research showing GLP-1 microdosing to help without the side effects. It's kind of confusing because it's like, who do we listen to now? The new Dr. Berry, who is now for Big Pharma, or the old Dr. Berry, who we all thought was completely against Big Pharma and for low-carb dieting as the perfect medicine? It also looks like several big-name carnivores are leaning towards GLP-1 microdosing for their clients as a solution. I would love and appreciate your thoughts on this. You can find the recent video on Kelly Hogan's YouTube page. What do you guys think about that?
Okay, so first of all, I heard this video, and I think people are not actually listening to the full story. What he's saying is that we can actually use this as a starting step, like at the very, very beginning. He's not saying like, listen, you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. He's saying it like, listen, we can use this at the very, very beginning, but we should be teaching people how to get off it. That's the problem. So he has no issues with people starting off with it, like say for a week or two, to understand how hunger works and how you can shut off hunger, shut off the craving. So I think a lot of people need to go back and listen to it again. He's not saying that this is what we should be doing going forward. He's just saying that it could be something that could be implemented short term, but for the long term, he's always going to be focusing on what's important, and that's the diet.
That's good. That's what about you, Peter? What are you thinking?
I was surprised to hear it in that formulation, and I was expecting already. I haven't seen the video, but I expected that the story to be more nuanced, and it comes close maybe a little bit to, so I don't know the story of what he told, but it comes close maybe to the idea of using Ozempic in that situation where it was meant for it, where it was made for, which is type 2 diabetes in an acute phase. In the very beginning, in very specific circumstances, Ozempic might be useful. And actually, that's an interesting side story. I recently saw a video on the how's she called? The Diabetes Nerd, I think. That's her YouTube handle. And she actually uses Ozempic, GLP-1 agonist, to better control type 1 diabetes. So it's also used in the context of type 1 diabetes, because in type 1 diabetes also all kinds of hormones besides insulin are dysregulated. So you tend to have a larger activity of glucagon, so a larger production of release of the glycogen. That, of course, makes the glucose control more difficult. So also there, it's a matter of microdosing. And in that situation, of course, I'm not sure if I would agree with this application, because I think low carb is sufficient enough to control type 1 diabetes, but it could help also maybe temporarily to better control type 1 diabetes, because it's very specific, of course. And that's the idea with medicine, right? You only use them temporarily and in very specific cases.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are,
Exactly.
I'm agreeing with, I agree with both of you guys, but I mean, I am for, celebrating this like they're doing, selling Ozempic at all these places around. It's on magazines and glorifying it like it's the way. Absolutely disagree with. I mean, I think if you're in a position where, you need a catalyst or a starting point, but to be educated is the key. And I don't think it's just your first go-to. You know what I mean? You're going right to drugs, and if you don't understand the context and the nuance, like you're saying, Mark, I think it's very dangerous. And what becomes a crutch? As soon as we reach away from nature and we embrace a hormone replacement of anything, there's always a trade-off. So why are you doing that? What is the context? I think it's very nuanced, and that's good that you said that, Mark, because I haven't seen the video, and from that comment, I'm like, what? They're promoting Ozempic, but I think, I always thought if you are morbidly obese and you need to lose weight and you need to start the process and you can get a jump on it, but you just got to be very careful, because eating less of a shitty diet is a shitty diet. You're not getting nutrition. I think that's the problem with that stuff, is it gets really, really crazy. So I'm gonna watch the video, and
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I agree with you, Tony. I would like. It's been proven on many, many occasions that this can be done without Ozempic. We've spoken about this on many, many occasions. It can easily be done. But again, when I watched the video, people need to go back in and watch it again. He never stated that you're going to be on this for the rest of your life. He only mentioned that it can be used at the very, very beginning, like say for a week or two, and then we'll teach these people how to get off these medications. And that's what he kept on saying. He kept on saying, like, listen, we need to focus on how do we get these people off these medications. And that's where we're struggling. A lot of these doctors are prescribing these drugs, but they're not giving out the right advice. They're not saying, okay, listen, you're going to be on these for, say, X, Y, and Z. You're going to be on these for the rest of your life. And there's the big problem. Nobody should be on these injections for the rest of their life. Nobody should be on medication for the rest of your life.
Well, exactly, because you just said it right there, man. If you use it as a lifestyle medication, like we're all against, you know what I mean? You need to figure out the lifestyle, right? Like, that's the difference. I mean,
exactly.
using a drug for therapeutic or relief or some kind of, easing symptoms is one thing, because, I'm not dogging anybody that's in pain and serious pain. But once it becomes part of your regular lifestyle, you got to look at it like it's not good. So, I mean, taking it away from the lifestyle medication, I think, is the key.
I think we should applaud Dr. Canberry for being so nuanced, because it's not like you are not allowed or you shouldn't use medicine at all. I mean, I think you both agree with that as well. And that's the nuanced story.
Absolutely.
There are situations where you use them.
Sorry, Peter, but yeah, absolutely. Because I have a few females that are going through menopause at the moment. I'm not against HRT. Never have been. I don't mind women taking a little bit, as long as it helps. As long as they're not relying on it. But if they need a little bit, I don't see any issues with that whatsoever.
And I feel the same way about testosterone for men, but it's a means to an end, not an ends, not the rest of your, you know what I mean? It's interesting how we just, that normal, the normal mainstream thoughts now, especially, us even 4 or 5 years ago, was trust your doctor. They put you on drugs because you need them. And it's like, we're just blindly giving us taking these things without understanding why or the context. Right. And I think, that's probably where modern medicine, the path it should have taken would be on the health perspective, as opposed to the relying on profit and, just getting as many people on medications as you can. And I mean, and that's where it's, you know, it's my opinion that it's up to us. It's up to us and like individuals to take responsibility for knowing their own health and just to understand there's another side, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing all the time, you know?
And think about it also when people go carnivore. It takes a while before type 2 diabetes is totally put in remission. I mean, usually you see changes within 3 months. Your A1C will drop significantly, but it's not there in the non-diabetic range. Typically, it takes half a year at least. So yeah, of course, if during that initial phase it helps you to use Ozempic or metformin and that sort of things, by all means do it. That's already 10 times better than injecting insulin, because I think if you go carnivore and low carb, you'll already typically go off insulin or much lower doses very quickly.
No doubt. And everybody, please help us out. Like, subscribe to the channels. We really appreciate your support and being part of this. We're trying to get our own sort of opinions, we're not doctors or scientists. We're just here trying to talk about things for, taking health in our own hands. And we've done some great things. All of us have been a part of this for quite a few years now. And I mean, I'm not stopping anytime soon. I'm feeling great every day, and I know you boys are now. I want to switch gears here, guys, and we'll talk about, I think it's one of your favorite people, Peter, and then you did a video that was interesting, and I want to get your take on it, because one thing I will tell you, everybody, if you could get a chance to follow Dutch Carnivore, your videos are pretty original, Peter. You bring your own little charm to it. So we're going to do this, and then I'll play the video that was kind of, I want to know what you're thinking with this one. But let's see what you guys think about this.
In this corner, we have butter. In this corner, we have seed oils. Ready? Fight! One of the criticisms from people who like to say that seed oils are the root of all these problems is that, well, you can't really compare polyunsaturated fats to saturated fat because humans eat foods. They're just trying to move the goalpost so that there's not any studies looking at directly what they want to account for. Until now, this study was looking at butter intake versus plant oil intake and the effects on mortality from all causes, cardiovascular disease mortality, and cancer mortality.
Wow. Okay, here's the problem I have with these people.
Okay, Mark, give her. You can start here, and then we'll get to Peter.
It's crazy, isn't it? Well, I said pretty much everything I needed to say in the video. I just don't understand why we need to go off a study. Why do we keep on listening to these people when they talk about studies? Why don't they not just focus on people that are actually doing the carnivore diet? Like, I'm saying this like a broken record. Like, it's unbelievable. Every single person that's on social media at the moment are coming out with these crazy statistics, these trials, these random trials, these researches, everything. And it's like, okay, you've read this on social media, you've read this somewhere, but I want to hear from, like, where's your proper evidence? Why aren't you not speaking to people like Tony? Why aren't you not speaking to someone like Ken Berry, like Peter? There's your evidence right there, because you can throw as many studies at you, as me, as much as you like. It's never going to work. It's never going to work.
And Peter, I want to get to you in a minute, but I'm just going to comment. And he said a couple things there that really, if everybody can think about this, when did these things get created? Who is selling these things and telling you they're better?
That's why I said in the video. Yeah.
Are they food? If he said humans just want to eat food. That's arguable. Is it food? Because I would say Crisco, canola oil, whatever vegetable oil you want, they had an industrial use for it and realized they could market it and sell it to humans and add bulk to every processed food with this stuff. And now, studies are showing the potential of damage. And it's just, you cut them out, see what happens. And if you know what, all you have to do, I know people that the only thing they did was cut out seed oils and they got better. Cutting out seed oils. So if you're on the fence and you think that it's all about, or they're fine, they're great. What's the harm in cutting it out? Because I'll tell you what, when you start cutting all those seed oils out, you're going to be eating whole food. It's pretty simple because you read the ingredients and you got it. Now, Peter, before I want to get your take, what was this video about? Because it kind of relates. And if you don't know what rapeseed is, everybody, rapeseed is canola oil. And Peter's got this beautiful Dutch charm in his videos, but I want to know what was going on in his mind. Do we have to have an intervention, Peter? Are you smoking rapeseed on us now? Or like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from. I think it had to do with because I used to smoke cigars in the past, so this was a nice excuse to smoke one. I'm pretty confident that I'm not addicted to it, but and it was quite frustrating because there was wind while trying to make this video. So I want, of course, to create these clouds that go like straight upwards. And I don't know, I must have made like 20 or 30 takes of smoke clouds to just get these 2 or 3.
Now I gotta ask you: is it like, is it healthier to smoke it than to make it into oil? Like, what's the deal?
Who knows?
There?
Well, this is the young rapeseed, so the seeds have not come to fruition yet. So maybe that's better. The bees, I mean, that's nice to see. The field was full of bees.
Okay.
And one thing that there was a comment under this video, somebody asking whether then is it also dangerous to eat honey made of bees that, rapeseed honey, let's call it like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad because the bees take the nectar from the flowers.
Cool.
That's not the seed yet. And probably it's the same like with fruit. Like fruit is safe to eat, and probably the nectar is also safe for the bees to eat, because it serves a purpose for the plant to.
That might be an
to spread itself.
That might be an interesting rabbit hole to dig into, because that would be interesting to see if the pollinators are spreading any kind of chemicals, which would be interesting. Because I know, we know. I know
in terms of pesticides, you mean? Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, I would say the logical answer would be, why do we need pesticides in the first place? If we didn't need pesticides, we wouldn't have this problem. But it'd be interesting to know that, because everybody just assumes, with the glyphosate and everything, they tell us it's perfectly safe for humans in the amounts that we use, but they don't tell you that they spray it all at different times and how it's crazy, like that stuff. But I mean,
and you get stories like that gets broken down to certain compounds that you find in nature as well, just like with aspartame, and therefore it's safe. I don't find that really convincing anyway.
And I mean, I'm on the bringing the carnivore aspect to this. I'm on the fence that the safest way to eat is ruminant animals, because there's some kind of filter in there that they're getting contaminated. There's no doubt if they're eating the corn, wheat, and soy that are sprayed and stuff. But is it a better option than just actually taking it right in? I mean, it's crazy. Like this monocrop agriculture is crazy, and they keep. Like, why is it even say? I don't know about what you guys think about this, but RFK is coming down hard on the dyes and some stuff in processed food. And I want to get your guys' take on this, because in my opinion, we already know these things are bad. So are they just going to take out certain chemicals and think that still processed food is good? Like, I mean, is he going to eradicate seed oils? Because that's only one side of it. The toxins, the herbicides, the chemicals. The other side is the agriculture itself. So all these processed foods, making America healthy again, still you have to choose to not consume packaged, processed, garbage foods. So what do you guys think about that? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm amazed that it took so much time to arrive at this point. It's. I remember primary school friends that already were not allowed to take colorants and that sort of things, because
Yeah.
already back then there were ideas hanging around about it not being very healthy for ADHD type of behavior.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like, we really need, and I mean, I think the Americans I think they're the worst as far as the processed food and all that. Their practice. I think in Europe, you guys probably have a little bit better, I'm sure. Like, even comparing ketchup in the UK, apparently, compared to the American ketchup. I'm not sure. I think the Canadian's the same as the American, but yeah, this stuff is crazy, and it's just that's gonna lead us into a little segment we call Write That Down.
These guys are getting richer while you're getting sicker. Write that down. 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 These foods are highly processed, complete garbage, and I can promise you now, I wouldn't even give it to my fucking dog. Write that down.
Time for Write That Down, and I got a couple things today, Mark, to get your take on, because you've been on fire as always. And everybody, this is a chance. Please follow Mark on social media, Fitness Beyond Time 01. He's always challenging the mainstream stuff and bringing a really good, honest human perspective to it in his own feisty little Irish way. And this one, and I love the clowns.
Here's 3 easy ways to get the protein into your body without breaking the bank. Number 1, in Aldi we have these protein bars. They're cookie dough flavour, 21 grams of protein per bar, $5.49 for 3 of them. You're saving at least €2 to €4 from buying them in the shop. So again, you're saving money, and they taste pretty good. These are chocolate protein puddings, about €1.10 at max. Both Lidl and Aldi have them, and they are going to be ideal for you when you're in a rush. And final product, but not the least, here you have your protein powder. Get a good source, Optimum Nutrition. Double rich chocolate is my flavour. You can get loads of different flavours on the market. You can double or even triple scoop this. There's 24 grams in 1 scoop, so double, triple, that's 50, 75. Add these, about 40 odd, you're going to have your your protein grams in 3 easy ways. So no excuses, guys. Let's move forward, get the protein to the body, strip the body of the unwanted excess body weight, move better, feel better, be better. Here's 3 easy.
And like, Mark, let's do this. And guys, if you're in the chats, in the comments, love to hear your thoughts on that. What you think about all those? I'm gonna call them fake proteins, but go on, Mark. What do you think?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Like, all people need to understand that not all protein is equal, and this is why so many people are struggling. Because did you hear what he said? He said we can get over 75 grams of protein from meat from having these foods, but you're also getting in a lot of shit also. And we also need to understand that all these foods that he just mentioned, every single one of them are processed food, including the whey protein.
Yeah,
it doesn't make it different. It doesn't make it different. Like, I know people that have unbelievable great brands of protein, but I still wouldn't have them. And if I was having a whey protein, I'd probably have it once every so often. I wouldn't be relying on it. So we should not be relying on supplements or these smoothies or these yogurts or these protein bars to get our protein in. You should be getting your protein in from animal-based sources, plain and simple.
Yeah, Peter, any thoughts?
I missed the video because I I had to get something, but I imagine it was about protein powders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my opinion on that is simple. I mean, if you eat a healthy diet, then it's almost impossible to not get enough protein. So just eat a bit more protein than you need. I mean, if it's really a problem, measure it out. Make sure that you eat more than the recommendations, and that's absolutely not harmful for your kidneys or anything, and then you're just fine.
I mean, I hear you, and I just think, telling somebody, like, why don't you just eat meat? Like, seriously, just eat meat. You don't have to think about it. Just eat until you're full. There's no more counting. I mean, and the only time I when I'm working with people and I suggest is the older you are, and if you're in that stage where you can't you're not hungry. You can't eat. Your stomach acid isn't the same anymore. You're struggling to get enough protein in. Maybe a good quality whey protein that is, try to get as least amount of ingredients as possible, but to use it as a tool to get your protein in is a lot different. But just relying on it, like what he's saying and what that video does, he's like, this is how you get your protein, which is, I can see God and Mother Nature right now, like chomping at the bit, ready to strike this guy down with lightning, because that's not natural. That's not what we're supposed to do.
And see, this is where people are going wrong, because they're saying, like, if I have more scoops of protein in my shake, I'm gonna get bigger. I'm gonna have bigger muscles. Complete rubbish. Absolute rubbish. This is just all marketing. That's all this is. It's just all this is. Like, these people are just bringing out these brands because they're looking at these people and saying, like, listen, like the bodybuilders. Everybody looks at these bodybuilders and they're like Jay Cutler. What's the other guy's name? Coleman. Everybody's looking at these people and saying, oh my God, I want to look like this guy eventually. And they're looking at their brands, they're looking at their BCAAs, their amino acids, their protein powders, and they're like, listen, if I just take these, I'm going to look like these people. There's no education around just eating proper food. That's the problem. There's just too many. There's too many of these supplement companies. There's way too many.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it gets lost as far as, like what your natural genetic your physique predisposition, like what you're genetically supposed to be at. You need protein. Like, you need complete protein. So using a supplement for what? Like, you know what I mean? If you're eating till you're full and you're just the average Joe or the average woman or the average, you need real nutrient dense, complete protein in complete protein with the amino acids. Go on.
And can I just add one part as well? If you go back into that video and actually look at this guy, just look at him. He doesn't look healthy at all. And this guy is a personal trainer. Now, when you look at him, if with all this protein that he's drinking, he should have an incredible body. He should just look really, really healthy. The one thing I noticed when I looked at the video was, okay, just look at him. Look at him compared to someone like me. I don't take any supplements. I haven't taken a supplement in 4 years. I don't even drink coffee. I just eat animal-based food. And I only put up a video of me the other day. I'm in the best health possible. I've said this many, many times. I'm walking around with a 6-pack with no effort whatsoever. None. I'm not even tracking my protein. I'm eating well over my protein intake a day. I think I weigh 140 pounds. If I'm going by the guidelines, I should be eating 140 grams of protein a day. I can tell you right now, I'm probably eating double that. Probably. Yeah. I'm probably eating close to about 300 grams of protein a day.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, just for instance, yesterday I went and I had a workout at the gym, and then I ate steak and like a big steak and eggs. Then I had another steak. Then I had another steak, and then I went over to friend's house and we had lamb, and I just kept eating. And I was legitimately, holy shit! Like, I ate a lot of food. I usually eat once a day, and yesterday was just I mixed it up. But I mean, I feel great. I didn't feel bloated and shitty. And I mean, I can't even imagine. I probably ate 3.5 pounds of meat yesterday. Like, and it was just, I don't usually eat that much, but I was just like, whatever. It is what it is.
I do the same when I go on the bike. I remember one time that I bought quite an exclusive piece of lamb meat. I put it in I made a stew out of it. I put it in the slow cooker before I leave on the bike. And it was actually not my intention to eat it all. But afterwards, I ate the entire, 2.5 pounds it must have been. And it was quite an expensive joke, of course, but also very nice and good for recovery, I imagine.
And see, go ahead, Tony. No, go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
When I go, I'm waiting for my next half a cow. So I have to budget. And I go to Costco. and I buy the big roasts and I cut it into steaks. But the problem is, like, I've got a tri-tip, I've got a sirloin top, and then I've got a strip loin, and I'm looking at all these cuts, and I want to try them all. So I cut up my steaks, and then I end up eating like a steak from each thing, and it's like, holy crap! But it's almost like a treat. Like when I see the meat, I'm like, whoa, I want to eat this. It's pretty funny because it's, you know, the stuff that we go through, and I'm like, what cut? There you go, Peter. I love it. But,
I was just going to add, like, I speak to an awful lot of people on a weekly basis when I'm doing my sales calls, and most of the time people will say, like, I'm eating a lot of protein, and I'm like, okay, but let me know let me know what you're eating, and every single time I'm being told that they're having whey protein, they're having protein bars, they're having all these protein supplements, but no animal-based protein at all. And if they are eating any animal-based protein, it's pretty much for their dinner.
yeah.
So
No
so the one thing I always hear from women is when they have a breakfast, they always have this pro oats. They have their protein mixed with oats powder.
Yeah.
And this is what I hear all the time, that their breakfast first thing in the morning, this is what they were advised for so many years. Have your protein powder, have your berries, and mix it in with your oats. You're still getting all the protein needs. Absolutely crazy.
And that actually reminds me to mention too as well, guys. If you're interested in working with Mark, give him a call. I think you consults, Mark. I do the same thing. When you're navigating this health and nutrition space, it can be very conflicting. A lot of things out there. So my suggestion to people is, if you resonate with somebody, or it's a lot of the faith and the trust, and it all comes down to it. And I would suggest, if you are a type 1 diabetic, not only is Peter done it, but he is one of the best people I know as far as a realistic human approach to things. And I think, not only following him on social media, but just, reach out to him. I know Peter's very receptive to people talking to him about this stuff, because, it's our health.
If people send me a message, a DM, I like it very much when especially type 1 diabetics, also type 1 diabetics that have recently been diagnosed. That's just, I wished I had that opportunity in the past 16 years ago.
And all I'll say about that, Peter, is what have you got to lose? If you're type 1 diabetic and you've just been recently diagnosed, and you're getting, it's hard, it's scary, you get all this advice, you don't know what to trust, I would say, just from, obviously I'm not a type 1 diabetic, but learn about this, get into different opinions, and look to people that are doing well and thriving, and arguably against what the doctors would say to Peter, right? Like,
and just as with all the other conditions that we talk about, right? It's before you go to extreme measures like surgery or heavy medication, you should have tried everything, in my opinion. And everything also includes trying for a few weeks a thing like a carnivore diet, if there is reason to believe that that it might be helpful for you. Because of course there are other solutions in the world. You could go low carb, keto, and so on. I'm not saying that it has to be carnivore, but if you haven't found the solution yet, try it by all means, at least for a short period of time. And for a type 1 diabetic, if you try a thing like this within a matter of days, you'll find that. So that's quite special, because a lot of conditions we talk about can take weeks or months even before you really get put it into a remission. And of course, you can't put type 1 into remission, but you can get very quick results.
Of course.
Yeah, and I also want to add that people need to understand that no matter what coach you go to, you're still no matter what coach you go to, you're still going to be given the same plan. You're going to be put on a calorie deficit. I can guarantee it. No matter, it could be the Mediterranean diet, it could be high carb diet, it could be low carb diet. You're going to be on a calorie deficit. This is where you guys need to move away from that rubbish, because it's never going to work. This is the reason why so many people are failing, because they're focusing on calories instead of just proper nutrition.
Yeah,
How
and
is
healthy fats and fiber.
Yeah. I mean, it's proven. There's so many people in the industry that even you look at Tony. Tony he's after saying he's after eating like a lot of meat in the last couple of days, and he still looks incredible. You know, I mean, there's people out there that are not even tracking their food. They're not even tracking their food, and they're still walking around and they look absolutely incredible.
And to be honest with you, like with my program and my clients, it is not quick. I work with people for a year because it's a process. And my, sort of my philosophy is to teach you the tools to think for yourself.
Yeah.
Once you become, self-sufficient in your mind and be able to discern the information, you find your way and it's yours. I mean, we can argue all day long. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we all had to write a diet plan for each other, we would be very similar, but it's part of the process. Is first thing is understanding that this stuff is real. Like most people get really, really conflicted when you talk about the carnivore diet right away. They get like, oh, I could never do that. Or they find these like, well, I've been told it's bad. And I'm going to say we talk quite a bit, us three, like before, between shows, and we're going to bring some news that's going to I know how happy Mark is, but we're going to save it because it's something that, when I heard this message, it made my heart melt because giving somebody hope and letting them know that you can do the impossible, because it is possible once you start shifting your thought process and putting your faith into yourself, really. And that's what we all preach. This is, as a coach, I didn't want to be a nutritionist because it's all bullshit. And I had a real tough time trying to navigate that. And now, I'm more into helping people become a better version of themselves, reclaiming humanity, all the cliches, but the other way. And it's a guide, it's a way, it's a tool, and you get these tools for the rest of your life. And for all the people out there that are just sort of on the fence or curious, take in all the information, use discernment, like figure this out. And I mean, you look at how many people just go the calories in, calories out way. Yeah, you can do it, but you're going to be suffering, white knuckling, putting all this effort and work and tracking, and then it ends. What happens when it ends? What happens? And it's amazing how, just saying that if you go on a diet that has an end date, how sustainable is it? Right?
Exactly. Yeah. You should never be in a situation where you're dieting for the rest of your life.
And I tried this for 30 days and I'm just riding it out because it's what makes me feel good now. And it's, I'm not saying don't eat broccoli. I'm just saying I personally don't need to, right? It's just, I focus on what I need and I tend to gravitate towards that more and more. And it's, I think that's the beautiful thing about this. When you really get into the carnivore lifestyle, you start to just become it's your diet. It's not the carnivore. Oh my God, I drink coffee, I'm not a carnivore anymore. That's not what it's about. I think there's certain contexts where people should scale it way back and you may have to go the lion diet. But I mean, I don't ever say go lion diet right off the bat, because you need to know what's going on with yourself. And I mean, a lot of that time, and I find most of the people in our community, especially on social media, that really get it. They get across this little hump where it's, oh, now it's about feeling good. It's about clarity. It's about, and the weight just happens. Like it's, you plateau a little bit.
Yeah, see the problem is people need to understand that what the majority of the world are going through an addiction at the moment with sugar and food. And when you look at someone who's dealing with drugs or alcohol or who's a gambler, it's not gonna happen overnight. You can't say to these people, okay, listen, you need to stop straight away. And I'm like you, Tony. When I take somebody on, I need to work with someone for a minimum of 6 months minimum, because I work in phases. Yeah. I say at the very, very beginning, okay, the first thing that needs to go is the processed food. The processed food and the alcohol needs to go. The second phase, then we work into carbohydrates. We get rid
Yeah.
of all carbohydrates. As
Yeah.
we get closer, people are looking amazing. But the one question they always get back to me on is, Mark, I look amazing, but I still don't feel good. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's because of the vegetables, maybe it's because of the fruits, maybe we need to eliminate these. So at this stage, these people have been working with me for 3 months. They trust me. So when I say to them, okay, as something as crazy as I need you to remove the fruit and vegetables, they trust me. They trust me 100%. So they're saying, okay, I'm going to eliminate this. When they eliminate that, everything just improves. Their digestion, their energy, everything just improves rapidly.
Yeah. When you're saying that, that's the same thing with me. Is I try to guide people, direct them to making this decision for themselves, because what happened with us organically is we just became carnivore, or we, it made sense because we were, whatever, low carb, like fat adapted, all that stuff. But that takes some time. So when people start to realize that it is a process, it's a phase. And I'm the same thing with you, Mark. Like, I don't try and shock people into, you have to do this right now. We need to prioritize protein. Like, we have to get that in our heads first. That's the most important thing. And I mean,
we have, sorry, Tony, we have to train the gut microbiome.
Yes.
That's the main thing. The main thing is those taste buds and that gut microbiome, because at the very, very beginning, people cannot let go of the carbohydrates. It's really, really hard. And this is where people don't understand the power of addiction. That's why you have to give these people time. If you say to these people at the very, very beginning, okay, listen, you're not going to eat carbohydrates, you're not going to eat processed food, you're not going to eat vegetables, that's going to be a shock to the system. And they're going to be like, they're going to be like, oh, listen, I can't do this. This is not going to work.
That's why every person that I take on and I work with goes on a CGM right away. And the first 2 weeks, I tell them not to change a thing, because I need to know how their metabolism is. And then once I start explaining certain things, they see it. It's just
and they do it by themselves almost, right? They will change foods and that's what I remember as well from my first half year. I went with the Bernstein protocol, started sort of low carb. So not very low carb. It's Bernstein is 30-40 grams. Yeah. And very naturally, well, first you are surprised by the good results. So you get trust in the process, in the concept. You continue, then you read more and more. So I mean, it's a bit the same like with coaching. So if I would try to help a type 1 diabetic make this change, don't do this overnight. Go gradually. And the process might be quick in the case of type 1 diabetes, but the consolidation phase is very long. It takes half a year to a year at least. If I think about things like sports and endurance sports, I think it was that summer, so about 1 year after starting low carb, that was the moment where I sort of was really fat adapted and I was able to go without sugar. I mean, I always take sugar for precaution because I'm type 1, but I was effectively able to go without sugar on the bike for an entire day.
Yeah.
But that took a lot of trial and error to get there. And actually today, I went on the bike since a long time, 70 kilometers. So not a super big ride, but I have to do this again. And it's a carnivore may be simple in its essence, but it's still, there are a lot of details to think about.
And it's funny how we label everything like carnivore, keto, whatever. And it's this. Just look at this way. We have 2 engines, 2 fuel systems. Most people use one, and that's the glycolytic pathway, the glucose, the sugar. They are predominantly. We were born into ketosis. We have this whole other way of using fat for energy. And people say, oh, it's just not healthy. It's not good long term. But we have it. So why would we naturally have this system that we don't use? So when you get fat adapted and you tap into this, you start to decide that, oh, this feels good. And I'm not saying you need to be in ketosis forever, because a lot of people get wrapped up with that, testing ketones, trying to get further into. I don't necessarily think that is, but the secret is being fat adapted, and I'm not saying I agree. I don't eat sugar as a rule for me, for the most part. Maybe once every few months I have some ice cream, but I can see that metabolic shift now where it doesn't do the same things anymore. I'm able to bounce back and forth. And I think Fat Adapted is such a powerful tool. And the shitty part is it takes some time. And depending on you, it can take a very long time. It's not 2 weeks.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because this really annoys me when I talk to these people on social media, when they talk about that sugar is not the problem. It's when you mix sugar with fats. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, one thing, anything more than 4 grams of glucose in your blood is toxic. You're doing damage. It's happening. You know what I mean? And then people argue that, well, we're able to deal with it. If you're efficient, you're dealing with it faster. That does not mean it's good. That does not mean it's okay. So yes, we can tolerate sugar, maybe have a treat once in a while, God forbid dessert, but we are eating dessert 17 times a day. And that blood sugar, the higher it is in your blood, the longer it's hanging around, the more damage it's doing. So all these people that are telling us that sugar is fine, it's not bringing any nutrition to the table. None. It's bringing a little bit of energy. And I have a big problem with that as well, Mark, for sure.
To back that up, Tony, if you think about it, the bloodstream can take 4 grams of sugar. It's already filled because your bloodstream contains sugar always. Your liver can contain about 400 kilocalories, but of course it's not empty when you're eating. And then there is glycogen stores in the muscles, which typically isn't empty when you're eating. So if you're eating, I don't know, a big meal of 600, 700 kilocalories with a lot of carbs, where does it go?
Exactly.
Not to your bloodstream.
Exactly.
Well, first, but insulin will put it immediately towards the liver. Liver, will put a little bit in glycogen stores because there's some room. And then fat stores, of course. Yeah. So it gets converted into saturated fat also. Yeah. And saturated fat, well, we should fear saturated fats, of course. But if you eat a lot of carbs, it's there as well.
So, guys, just before we get into this next little clip, because it's really going to tie into this, just wanted to say shout out again. Thank you very much, everybody, for commenting. We love your questions. We're here every Sunday. And, join us. We want to get this word out, this message out. It's all part of the process. And we really do enjoy engaging with you. And, Rick, appreciate your support, Lambs, as well. Lambs, you changed my life. That my lunch break is just killing me. I'll tell you what, man, it's changed. Anybody who wants to get really, really deep into some rabbit holes, I would check out my lunch break. It's pretty good. That's for another day. But we'll get into this clip, Peter, when Peter's back, because the carb thing, this is what drives me nuts. And Mark, you did a great sort of clip on your TikTok here, and we're just going to get into it because this is the bullshit that we're dealing with all the time.
Carbs make you gain weight. Wrong. Here's the facts. Carbs, carbohydrates, are often misunderstood and unfairly blamed for weight gain. The truth is, carbs are actually an essential macronutrient that your body uses for energy. When consumed in the right amounts and from healthy sources like whole grains, fruits, vegetables, carbs actually help fuel your workouts and promote muscle recovery. It's the overconsumption of calories in general. That could be from carbs, fats, or protein that leads to weight gain, not just carbs alone. The key is focusing on the quality of your carbs, complex carbs over refined sugars, and maintaining a balanced diet. Follow me for more info. Carbs make you gain.
Okay. So, that's the kind of shit that really pisses me off, because that's why I'm not a nutritionist, because there's no one cookie cutter fits all bullshit. If you look at that, like all that balanced diet, quality of carbohydrates, is the quality of glucose change in your blood? Is it good quality glucose? Is it better quality fructose? Or does your body see just monosaccharides and break it down to that? So
exactly.
Is there a place in an athlete to use carbohydrates as a tool? I would say if you want to experiment and you're healthy, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the normal person trying to control that shit. What she's saying will lead you to eating more carbohydrates. Simple. You will not be able to do that And if you can't go to the gym because you're injured or you can't move, you're obese or some in pain, how the hell is that diet going to benefit you at all? It's not at all. 100% bullshit. And that's where,
and that's what really annoys me, Tony, because I'm the same as you. Like this bullshit of like what I can do, you can do. We need to get rid of this attitude, because you can clearly see that this woman is a social influencer. You can clearly see that she hasn't got the life of, say, the average person that works a 9-to-5 job or is sitting down pretty much all day and doing nothing. And this is the big problem I have, because a lot of people are falling for this and saying like, okay, listen, if I want to look like her, I just need to listen to what she's saying. But that's the worst advice you can actually get. The worst advice. I'm hoping when people actually listen to my videos and listen to Tony's and listen to Peter's, and they understand that, listen, hang on a second, what he's talking about actually makes a lot more sense. When he talks about insulin, that actually makes a lot more sense to me. I'm hoping people see past the calorie model, because it's not working. If it was working, we wouldn't have an obesity crisis at the moment.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have people in such dire health problems at the moment. So something is wrong, and people need to question the system. Okay, what's going wrong? Why am I struggling? Why am I going on these low calorie diets, these low fat diets, and I'm still struggling? Why can I not lose the weight when I'm insulin resistant? And this is the reason why.
No
It's
doubt.
just very simple calorie counting, right? You go to primary school, you have to be able to read, to count, and that's it, right? So very simple. Everybody can do it. So why doesn't it work?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so crazy how people can't get over that. Like, it's natural food. What would you have been? Just imagine, and I mean, I think I've said this before. Just imagine you're shipwrecked on a desert island. What would you be doing? Planting crops, grabbing your wheat seeds and growing, wheat to make bread? Or would you be looking for water and looking for a viable food source, like hunting an animal?
But not only that, Tony, when an animal goes out and kills its prey, do you think before it kills that prey, it's going to say like, okay, hang on a second, before I eat that, I need to find out how many calories I'm eating? It doesn't make any sense. It just eats until it catches its prey, it kills its prey, eats the prey, and that's it. It stops.
It just made a mistake.
Yeah.
It says, oops, turns around, oops, too many calories.
I didn't write this down. Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, it's crazy. All this stuff, it's like, just look at where you're at, and you go to these for help, and you will what do you get? You go, okay, you just have to do less of the same thing you're doing, or you just have to, moderate or just balance your diet. Like, what the hell is a rainbow going to do for your health? Like, eating all different colors. Like, just keep trying, and then what happens? You're not getting better, but you got to put in more effort. So you got to listen to my advice more. I am listening to it. I'm following the diet to the T. Who wants to do that? Okay, here's your diet plan. Eat this exactly, and then what? Well, you haven't been working out enough. You need to go to the gym. You need to exercise more. You need to sleep better. How's your sleep? Oh, fuck, I can't. So, like, it's crazy. Yeah. And I think the idea is to progress. Take it for what it is, man. And the answers are found in nature. And I mean, anybody that wants to argue natural shit, you look at the Lane Nortons. I mean, I don't know where he's coming from, because like, I really try to see the good in everybody, but when you're saying this stuff, like, you're preaching that you're this scientist and that you're using logic but to me, that logic is completely flawed, and you're pushing people towards what you've done. And I mean, there's a difference between a power lifter, bodybuilder, and somebody that's trying to heal themselves. Yeah. And that's
I have a question for you, both of you guys, actually. So I was wondering, because they talk about carbohydrates and that it's good to eat a lot of carbohydrates, that you need them. That's problematic to me. It sounds problematic to me. But the fact that they also tell that it's impossible to go low carb and fat based, and they will say silly things like, your glycogen reserves get depleted and that sort of things. Well, you can Google it, use ChatGPT if you don't want to read the literature. It's utter nonsense. So which of the two is more problematic according to you? Advising the carbohydrate route or actually talking this negative and spreading misinformation about the low carb approach?
You know, like, I think just you have to, this is the problem. You know, a lot of us, it's always this us against them mentality, and it's not. It's nuanced. There's certain things that you can do, and just if you put yourself, we've all done it, become your own N of one. Try and cut out these things for X amount of time. See what happens. See what happens. The only problem is most people, if you go, okay, I'm going to go carnivore right now, you have this shock factor where you have blasting diarrhea and you have this horrible, but that's an adjustment. Is that a good thing? You know, I would say sometimes it's necessary, but most of the time it's too fast. But if you cut out grains, start making some changes and focus on essential nutrients, just get good quality food and see what happens.
Yeah, see, the problem I have is they're pushing the agenda. They're pushing the agenda. They're saying, like, listen, you need to just do what we're doing. It's been proven for a long, long time, but it hasn't been proven. That's the problem. It hasn't been proven. They're only going by what they read. They're not going by real studies of people that are actually living this lifestyle. I could put up a video tomorrow. People are going to look at me and say, well, he's crazy. But when they see what I'm doing and what I'm eating, and if they saw like a full day with me and they can see what I'm eating, I only eat 2 meals a day. I'm not eating 6 or 8 meals a day anymore. I'm not eating any carbohydrates. I haven't eaten a fiber or a grain in 4 years. And people are always saying to me, like, listen, you must be constipated. You must be struggling to go to the toilet. I have no issues going to the toilet. And the good thing is I don't go to the toilet every day. That's the good thing about carnivore. I go to the toilet probably once every 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what I mean? So I don't need to go for a number 2 every day.
Here are a few things that are indicators for people that spread misinformation. One thing is they will tell about us that we are constipated. Well, it's very simple to observe yourself whether you're constipated or not. And another thing is that you have to be very careful about is if influencers tell you that something is not possible, this or that is not possible, or this or that is dangerous. I mean, I could talk about the vegan diet and say, yes, it's not possible because you need to take B12 vitamins and blah, 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 those supplements. But you don't hear me talking about this stuff. I'm not acting against vegan diets, and I think actually they can be quite healthy. And of course, but like vegans will confirm this as well, you will need to supplement with B12. But besides that, I think there can be a place for a vegan diet.
I've helped vegans be better vegans because once they get it that the nutrition is nutrition. It has nothing to do with plants or animals. The body doesn't give a shit. The body wants what it needs. And
and see, if I was working with a vegan, I'd be like you, Tony. I try and make it a little bit better. I would say, okay, listen, if you want to be vegan, make sure you're getting it from plants. Don't go towards like buying plant food and filling Bill Gates' pockets. Forget about all that shit. Just eat, like, if you want to eat plants, just eat plants. But the narrative, the problem I have is when they push it down our necks and say, well, this is the best way to eat. You're going to be a lot healthier. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with that. So if you're saying something that I don't agree with, well, then I have a right to fight back and give my opinion on it, so people that can actually make up their own minds.
And that's what we're trying to do here, man. We're not giving any medical advice. We don't care what you do. We just care about voicing our opinions on what we found. And if it helps you, if this can help anybody, honestly, guys, out there in YouTube land, share this with people. It's a great way to learn different sides, learn different information. And I know I've got a couple of things to say here about vegans. If you're doing something to improve your health, all the power to you. Get into it. Learn about it. But just have an open mind. I don't hold anything against anybody, but my personal choice is not your business. And I don't want to be pushed into any boxes because I'm doing something for myself, and that's the politics of this carnivore vegan stuff that I don't like at all. But, and I mean, to be honest with you, Bart K, he's just calling out the science. He's calling out the indications. That's it. He even admits his diet isn't perfectly carnivore. Like he's not saying that. He's not trying to say it him. He's actually trying to prove the science. We are trying to just show our opinions. Now, the other thing is, I have a lot of people that I talk to about IBS and struggling with their bowels and their stuff. And then they tell me, oh, what do I need to do? And I tell them, or I give them some suggestions, and they say, well, I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, well, then stop complaining about your IBS because you're not willing to try anything to give yourself relief. You hear it all the time. Poor me, I'm broken. I don't know what to do. You say something, you suggest something, stop eating oatmeal. Well, I don't know if I can. That oatmeal's it's like, wow. So that's the other side of the stuff.
And then when you dig deeper into it and you're like, okay, what are you actually doing to relieve the pain? Oh, I'm spending money on this supplement. I'm spending money on this supplement. And it's like, okay, well, what have I told you that you don't need to spend any more money on supplements? What have I told you that in the next year, you're actually going to save a lot of money? It still doesn't resonate to these people. They're like, okay, well, no, I'm still convinced I still need to eat oats. I'm still convinced I need to eat my vegetables, even though they're saying to you on the phone that I suffer with constipation, I suffer with my digestive issues, my mental health is shit. And it's like, well, you've been doing this for such a long time. You're going to the doctor to relieve these problems. I'm telling you what the problems are, but it's just that's why I said it. That's why I chose not to go down the route of going too hard on these people. I chose that when I take on a client, I have to tell them at the very, very beginning, listen, you're going to work with me for 6 months.
Yes.
Whether you need to work with me for 6 months, because eventually I'm going to lead you into where you need to be. But I know I have a lot of work to do at the very, very beginning. I need to convince you that you don't need the sugar, you don't need the carbohydrates, you don't need the vegetables. You just need to eat animal-based foods. But it's going to take me time to get you there.
Yeah, Mark, sure. I find that amazing also, that when people say that they need certain foods. I mean, we're talking just about food, and putting aside the addictive part, aspects of food, it's just food. You have to consume it for nutrition, and people act as, and we are conditioned by society, of course, but people act as if it's a punishment to remove the oats from your breakfast, for example. Well, what are we talking about? A bowl of oats. I mean, there are more important things in life, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Peter, you said a good point, because your body needs nutrition.
Yeah.
We eat food for nutrition, and that's where it gets all muddy, right? Like, it's just, what's it bringing to the table? I mean, Jesus, you just have to look at what, like, and that's where we could probably have we'll talk about it another video, is it's interesting how they vilify the nutrient-dense, bioavailable, animal-based foods from all angles. If it's at first it'll give us heart disease, then it'll give us colon cancer, then it's not sustainable for the environment, then it's you're cruel to animal. Like, there's so many angles that are attacking these things, and it's just like, I'm eating this way for selfish reasons. But of course, I want the world to be a better place, and I want to protect the environment. Like, this is ridiculous. These all these arguments straw manning the simple fact that nutrition is nutrition, and it's nutrient dense. All right, boys. Well, we are getting to an hour, so we're gonna probably cut this off. I really had a good time today, and it's always nice to talk to you guys, and we really do appreciate all your support out there in YouTube land. We're here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in the Netherlands. I might not be Canadian after Monday. We'll see what happens with our election, but
I wouldn't advise to go Dutch, by the way. Lots of issues here as well.
With that one, like where to go in the world. It's kind of a crazy place. But boys, where can people find you, and tell us how you're feeling, and say goodbye. Peter.
I'm feeling great, and yeah, do have a visit to my channel soon, because I have 25 butters in my fridge. This morning I tasted 25 slices of butter. Some butters I had to try multiple times to get the right verdict. Dutch Carnivore on TikTok, if you want to know more about butter.
I can't wait to see that one, buddy. Awesome. Mark?
And if you guys like to see people getting called out, then you need to come and see my channel, because I do it pretty much every single day. I pick somebody on social media who's talking rubbish. I call them out. I wait for a reply, and I never get a reply. That's the problem. So if you guys want to see me, I'm on Fitness Beyond Time on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. Or if you guys want to contact me directly, you can contact me at ennismark93@gmail.com.
And yeah, everybody, please, support these guys. And if you don't mind, help us out. Like, subscribe to Peter's channel, Dutch Carnivore, to my channel, Food for Thought, Question Everything. And if you're down, leave a comment. It helps us. We're going to work on trying to get Mark's stuff attached to this. We're all new. I'm not a tech guy, so we're just winging it for the most part here. We're just getting better, and hopefully we keep improving. We do really appreciate your support. And check out Mark's Carnivore Evolution podcast. It's on Spotify, and it's also on YouTube. He started a channel. We're going to try and get this all synced up for the most part. We have some great things down the pipe coming up. We're going to get into a really big deep dive into endometriosis. So if you're like, ladies, if you're suffering, I know we're guys, and I know we can't possibly understand, but we can take it from the human side of things, and we're going to get some people that have changed their lives adopting this of eating.
And can I also say we have 2 inspiring stories coming up very, very soon. Also, these people are going to be coming on and sharing their stories, and it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and this is what we're trying to do, is make just letting out, we're real people, real conversations. We want to just push this out there, that to give some people hope, to give some people a different perspective. And if anybody's interested in getting a hold of me, you can contact me at tonystewartcoach@gmail.com. My website's TonyStewartCoaching.com. Obviously on this channel, leave us a comment. And thanks to Primal Patricia for kicking us off with that comment. That was really good about Ken Berry. And I will say thank you, one and all, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye-bye.